Hello again. Welcome back to another episode in Adventures in Book Hunting. Um, this particular episode came up because I encountered something that's kind of rare for me, but it's something I just wanted to chat about a little, and that is the estate sale. Um, in general, you have two sorts of estate sales. You have the really big ones with lots of valuables where you have a licensed auctioneer and a lot of publicity, a lot of advertising. And on the occasions where you see books at those sales, they tend to go somewhat high. Um, you get end-use collectors and really high-end book hunters. Not like me. I am definitely a low-budget book hunter. In any event, there's those sorts of estate sales, and then there's one like the one I encountered yesterday. I was driving on a route that I don't normally do. I do it on occasion, and happened to see a house with handwritten signs that said estate/moving sale. And as I've said a few times before, um, yard sales I don't have a lot of luck with. Moving sales sometimes I do. People have to make hard choices when they're moving, and lighten their burdens as much as they can. And of course, in estate sales, the person who may have loved a particular book isn't around to argue about whether to sell it or not. It's just the morbid fact of the matter. But in any event, I got here there very late in the day. It was almost 5 p.m., and apparently the sale had been going on throughout the day. And I went in, glanced around, and this house was about 80% empty. There were still a few odds and ends, and there was a bin with some books in it. And I just wanted to show you those real quick to show you what you can get at a informal sale. The sort of sale where the person was of modest means, their relatives are having to settle the estate themselves personally, and they're just trying to get rid of stuff so they don't have to take it someplace else. You have all the motivation of a yard sale with the added incentive that you're typically trying to empty a house so that you can sell it. In any event, there wasn't a whole lot left in the bin. Um, there was a lot of biography, some general fiction. Nothing really popped, except for just a few things that I'll go over. Um, there was a West Virginia history textbook, and I think it's the one that my kids used when they were in the 8th grade taking West Virginia history, which is probably a step up from the one I used many decades ago. Um, but still, nothing I really wanted to take with me. But let's just go through them real quick. First, I found biography of Michelangelo, sculptor, painter, architect by Charles Tilani. Um, art books will sell if they actually have art in them. And in just breezing through this one, there is not a lot. Um, there's a catalog of his works. Like, let's see. Let's see one of the famous ones. Um, well, maybe that. Yeah. With these kind of illustrations. Black and white photographs of his art, sculptures and drawings, bas relief, those sort of things. But that is basically it. You have quite a few illustrations. Oh, details from the Sistine Chapel. You've got a few illustrations and photographs. Maybe, well, actually, more than I was thinking. Probably a couple hundred, but they're all in black and white. So, ideally, if you're trying to sell one of these, you want one with lots of color photographs of the art. Um, Still, my friends at the Hatter may decide that they can sell this, so I'm going to give them first crack at it. Don't know that I'm going to keep it, but as always, they tend to get first priority. Got a couple of novels by Larry McMurtry. Um, I like Larry McMurtry. I really enjoyed Lonesome Dove. Um, what's the one? The Last Picture Show. Um, a couple others. He wrote a book about Sitting Bull in his traveling show from the 19th century, nonfiction, which I really enjoyed. But I like his style. I like his prose. This one apparently had a collaborator. I don't know Diana Osana, but apparently it's co-written with her. Um, Once again, took a chance. Don't know that the bookstore would want it. Don't know that I really want it, but I'll try and find him a home if neither of those pans out. Um, as I said earlier, there were quite a few biographies. Nothing that really popped for me, except for this one, Biography of Natalie Wood by Gavin Lambert. Um, don't know if the Hatter has space in their biographical section for her, but if not, I definitely know an individual who would love to have this, who was a big fan of Natalie Wood, and so I will find it a good home one way or the other. Um, and then finally, some smaller paperback sizes, uh, two that are immediately going to go to the Hatter, two mass market Stephen Kings, and they're fairly well known popular stories. Um, both adapted for film. Salem's Lot and Misery. In fact, this looks like it's a movie tie-in cover because you have the movie's information on the back. And as you can tell, in eh, somewhat rough condition, but still, unless it's falling apart, I grab any Stephen King I can because in a used bookstore setting, it sells quickly. Um, Stephen King is still very popular, and he still sells well. And like I say, uh, it's not my thing generally. I've read some Stephen King. Some I like, some I didn't. Um, but but if I were going to read either Misery or Salem's Lot, I would want to get them in this format because it's not a book I'm probably going to keep. Just need a reading copy. And finally, for me, the thing that probably most tempted me to keep, although I think I will probably go ahead and donate it to the store, is a Doctor Who novel, Festival of Death. And as you can see, that is Tom Baker, who was the fourth actor to play the Doctor, well, actually, on the TV series. Um, there was a film adaptation that had another fellow in it. But anyway, when I started watching Doctor Who in the early 80s, this was the guy I was watching on public television who was portraying the Doctor. Still my favorites. I think most days I still like the guy who was the Doctor after him, Peter Davison. I just liked his personality. But Tom Baker was awesome, and he was a very long running Doctor. And with fans of the old show, as opposed to the modern one that's playing on BBC now, Tom Baker is always a fan favorite. You see his novels every once in a while. This one is extra neat because it's by BBC Books, uh, priced in pounds before dollars. So right away, you've got a UK edition. And first edition, first printing of this particular paperback. Apparently, it was published in a hardcover edition in 2000. And actually, this edition was first published in 2013, but from the marks, it looks like it's the first printing of that edition. And as always, with a real British book, you have the disclaimer here on the inside title page, in the publishing information page, that the author asserts his moral right to this work. I think we discussed this once before. In the UK, besides the financial rights you have as an author, you have a cluster of rights that they call moral rights, and primarily that means you have the right to demand attribution if somebody uses this book. So in this case, that's Jonathan Morris. It's just some extra non-economic rights that are codified under British law that we don't have, or that we don't have recognized. But in any event, uh, this one tempted me, and apparently this is a fifth anniversary collection, so it's probably fifth anniversary from the show, which makes sense from the publication date. Actually, I think we've blown past the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. But uh, like I say, yeah, there was a time where I would have kept this, read it, and maybe kept it for a while on the shelf a long time. Uh, Current year, tempted, but this one's probably going to go to store, and I don't think they'll have a hard time selling it. Uh, anyway, just a few things I found at a private, very low-key estate sale, very informal. Like I say, it's no auctioneer talking a mile a minute. Just plain folks who have to deal with tragedy in their lives, with the death of a loved one, and deal with the aftermath from that. But they had a pile of books that they needed to get rid of, and I helped out. And like I say, because the people who are selling don't have any sort of emotional attachment to these books, you get a good price. I paid, let's see here, $5 for that stack. So I think I did pretty well. In any event, just once again, food for thought for the aspiring book hunter. Estate sales. As macabre as it sounds, you get good stuff because the person who loved the book can't buy you anymore. Just sad but true. And on that happy note, I'll say goodbye and see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.